So today my goal is to catch the moonrise over the Superstitions, and according to the information I looked up, it should be rising around right around here. So that's the goal here. So what I'm going to do is probably sketch it out in pencil, and then I'm going to go home and use masking fluid, and then probably do the whole thing in India ink. We'll see. Okay, so I had to break out the Video Pro mode so you could actually see what the moon really looks like. It is orange. It's so cool. This is so cool. I hope you guys can see this. It is awesome. Alright, so this is the sketch I have from being out there. I did most of the sitting out there waiting for the moon. Now I'm going to go in with masking fluid and mask out a lot of things. Like I'm going to kind of like show all the lines that are in here. And I'm trying to decide how much of the superstitions I'm going to mask out. Like, I'm not sure if I'm going to just make them black or what exactly I'm going to do. I'm still thinking about it. Okay, so as you may have seen, it was a bit of a struggle dealing with this. For a while, I went back to my old method of using like the big one with the back of my paintbrush, but the downside was that I just couldn't get the precise little lines that I wanted. So I went back to this one, and I just spent a lot of time just kind of like tapping it out to get more of the fluid moving. It was starting to kind of dry out as I was using it, which I kind of expected. So I mean, it's just kind of is what it is in that situation. So, okay, here's what I'm going to try and do. So, in this cheap watercolor set, I have some black, but it's not very dark. And that's not what I'm looking for. So, I'm going to use some Sennelier India Ink that I have to do a lot of this stuff in the foreground. And then after that dries, I'll probably take watercolor to do like the sky and the moon and those kinds of things. That's my plan anyway. Alright, this was a fun one. You probably noticed about halfway through I had to turn my light off because the India ink was reflecting so much. So, luckily I think this video setting on my camera compensates pretty well. So that was a fun one. Definitely, you know, I experimented with a lot of different things on here. So, you know, when you use the masking fluid, it definitely kind of like creates like more jagged kind of lines, which I kind of think is kind of fun and stylistic and interesting. And then you notice I had to put in a lot of layers of different colors in here to kind of create the different lighting situations we have going on here. And of course I made this like a little bit fantasy of like kind of what it looks like, but a little bit enhanced. I thought the moon, you know, the moon I ended up, the edges weren't as clean as I wanted because I went in to go clean it up, and then I had a little bit of watercolor spill over. So that's why I used acrylic paint in there, and then I took my India ink markers in there to do that. And then there was a spot actually in the middle of the moon where I was trying to kind of like darken it up and create the little marks that are on the moon. And so I took the terracotta one and got it a little bit wet on another piece of paper and kind of used a paintbrush to put that in there a little bit. Yeah, the masking fluid worked pretty well once I was able to get enough of it on there, so I thought that was pretty successful. Definitely this was a lot of fun. Going to actually like get the inspiration was probably the most fun of this one, I will say.